right, we are here with Justin, the Tactician Patterson. I'm a big nickname guy, okay? I'm a very big nickname guy. I want to know how you got the name Tactician.
Well, part of it was just because my military background coming out of the Navy, and my whole take on martial arts and fighting in general kind of got me that name. I'm a very analytical person. I'm good at breaking down situations, scenarios, fighters, and everything, and it just kind of stuck. You know, it started out a joke, and then it stuck with me. And it's how I approach my fights. I approach my fights very tactical, very technical, and I don't know. It really describes me.
Well, it does describe you, and it's also very unique but simple. Like, I really dig the simplicity of it, but I don't know any other tactician in MMA.
Now everybody goes for something that sounds like tough. You know, like I don't think of myself as like a tough guy. I know how to think my ways in and out of situations.
Okay, well that's very cool. So you're fighting at LFA 83 over at the Bomb Factory in Dallas, Texas. You're the co-main event against undefeated prospect Matt Dixon. Let's go ahead and talk about the fight a little bit while I've got you on here. What does Matt Dixon present as an opponent that we need to keep an eye on?
Young, athletic, pretty solid boxer, pretty well-rounded in his skills. He represents this up-and-coming generation of fighters where there's not a lot of holes in his game. You know, there's not a lot of blaring things that are just like, oh, he sucks at ground or he sucks at wrestling. So it just presents that complete package to where I can't slack anywhere.
I really like the way that you put that. It just really speaks to how MMA is evolving as a sport. And, you know, in the very beginning, it was who has the best fighting style, or, you know, what trumps what, you know. And now it's more about a well-rounded game, and, you know, the era of guys that have the one thing that they're really good at, your Damian Maias, etc. You know what I mean? That's kind of gone away. You don't have any of that anymore. So
you just have guys that are presenting a full threat, and if you are not ready for a full threat, you are gonna get a lot of disappointment.
Exactly. And you've been around this game a very long time, okay? And you've dealt with prospects, you know, and undefeated fighters, and taking that away. Let's talk about that. And also, you know, you're the co-main event of one of the best organizations that feeds fighters into Bellator, into the UFC. Let's talk about that a little bit. Is there any pressure dealing with all of that? You know what I mean?
No. You know, I fought main event for LFA before against Derek Krantz last year. You know, I fought for Bellator for about 3 years. So, I mean, I've been in front of the cameras. I've been in front of the pressure. I fought guys coming in and going out of the UFC. So it's not, as far as that's concerned, you know, it doesn't bug me anymore. You know, there's always the nerves of the fight itself. You know, the anxiety and the energy going in. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. But as far as like pressure, I always go in there to perform, and that changes nothing. All it does is make me want to go do more.
Okay, yeah. I mean, a little bit of pressure is normal, right? So there's always the butterflies when you're getting ready to go into combat, essentially, because, I mean, this is what this is. It's man-to-man combat. So the butterflies, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. If you don't have those, there's probably something wrong with you.
Right, exactly. You're not taking it seriously enough. If you're not having anxiety or just a little bit of nerves, and you're not really taking the situation seriously enough, in that case, it usually hits you in the cage. And so that's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing.
By then, it's too fucking late.
Oh yeah, your legs feel like lead. Speaking from experience, your legs feel like lead, and you want to do a lot of things, and they don't happen. That actually happened to me my Bellator debut. I froze, man. I completely froze, and I lost without even throwing a punch, man. It was one of the most embarrassing things in my life, you know. So I deal with that energy up front, you know. I admit In the beginnings especially, like, you nervous? Hell yeah, I'm nervous. But as I train, those nerves go away. As I prepare, I put those nerves into training, and I put that energy into training. And by the end of it, I'm just ready to go.
Awesome. Okay, now I'm very, very grateful. You've put up with my fucking nonsense of a day that I've had today, and we're finally getting the damn thing done. Okay, and you're in the middle of a weight cut, so even more props to you. Okay, so this is not something that I take very lightly, and we offered to reschedule, but you said, no, let's go in and get it done. So I do want to thank you for your time before I forget, because I am a forgetful bastard. So let me get that out of the way. So thank you very much for giving me your time, especially at a very crucial moment before the fight. Now, your last fight was in front of the big boss man. Your last fight was in front of Dana White. Now, I don't give a fuck about the outcome, okay? I want to talk about how was it fighting in front of that guy?
It was pretty awesome, man. It's a little indescribable, man. The whole energy of the build up, Curtis is actually a friend of mine too. And we had talked about fighting a few times, and it was just, he's number one, I was number two. Mm-hmm. Main event, it was in Texas. It was just the whole ordeal was so amazing. It just fucking sucks, it was a great punch. Yeah. But honestly, like I came out of there, I was upset I lost, but at the same time, it was like I didn't feel like I got dominated or anything like that. I just felt like I got caught. And, it was back to the drawing board. Not so much to change things. It was just, all right, let me stay ready. Let me go out. Let me re-prepare because I'm ready for this. I need to do this. I can do it on the next one. I can get it on the next one. It was just, it pushed me. And but it was exciting. It was really exciting.
Does he bring like a different energy, Dana White? Does he bring a different energy to an event?
He does. He really does. He brings a very like I said, it's a push. It's a push. You're like, all right, I'm here. I need to perform. I need to go do this. Yeah. But other than that.
Well, look, I mean, you were fighting Derek Cranston. He's an animal. He is a fucking animal. So there's no shame in that loss. And looking up and down your record, like you've seen everything. You've even split a couple of fights with Chance Rencounter, who is probably one of the toughest dudes on planet Earth. That guy.
Yeah, I broke that guy's jaw in the second round, and he didn't even flinch, man.
Yeah, that is one tough son of a bitch. So, I mean, your record definitely doesn't speak to, like, the hardcores are going to know, hey, man, this Patterson guy, you really have to fucking take this guy seriously. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I definitely am not one of those guys that just gives a fuck about guys on a win streak and guys that win. And all of the guys that I interview, all the fighters interview, they know that. I'll take guys off of fucking 4 losses straight. I don't care. You know what I mean? Hopefully I don't have to because fighters like, talking on a win and, it builds up the next fight, yada, yada. So what do you think it's going to take to get back to where you want to be, which is ultimately the big show, the UFC, Bellator 1, one's making waves in the sport. I mean, what do you think it's going to take to get you back there?
Honestly, man, I feel like coming out with a big win here and make a run for the LFA title. And, just I need to string together about 2 or 3 solid wins against some good fighters. Like, I don't like fighting chumps anyway, but,
True.
It's gonna. I'm gonna have to go monster hunting. I'm gonna have to go look for some great fighters and try to put their name on the wall.
Okay, and are there any rematches out there that you think could potentially get you there? Given if they're spun out of said organizations.
I feel like doing a trilogy with Rencounter would definitely do it. Let me think. Who else?
I'd watch that shit. Just saying.
Like honestly, that's the only one as far as like rematches. I really just want. I want, because the last fight, I honestly, I didn't even train for it. I only trained 2 weeks for that fight. My gym shut down. I had no coach. I had been with that coach for 2 weeks going into that fight. It was just, I took it. I shouldn't have, but, you know, the fighter in me was like, I beat him once. I'll beat him again. Yeah, but you're not that guy right now, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I'd like to have that back, just because, you know, it's nothing personal, but I really want to fight it out. I really want to fight it out with them.
No, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I can understand where you're coming from. The guy got you narrowly, and you know, these things do happen, but I can definitely understand wanting to get that one back. And then let's talk about the placement of where you're at on this card. Okay, I think LFA does a really good job of taking fighters and placing them on the card where they're going to thrive. You know what I mean? Where they're going to do the best. You got guys that are perfect for the opener. You got guys that are going to get you, you know, that are going to build you up for the co-main and the main event. And then you got guys such as yourself who they know are going to put on, just a barn burner or an exciting fight to get them ready for the main event. I think really, like, the co-main event is probably one of the most important parts of a card, because if your co-main event stinks, how many people stay around for the main event?
Next to none.
That's what I'm saying, especially in this sport. It's not like in football, where they could be down two goals or touchdowns or whatever. Forgive me, I'm not a big football guy, but they could be down and it's down to like the last 30 seconds and people are still there. You know what I mean? MMA is just not the same as any other sport, to where the co-main event really sells or hurts the main event. So let's talk about the placement. The LFA is really trusting you here.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they know I come to fight. You know, there's no, you know, a lot of guys come to win, and you know, I do. I come to win, but very few show up to fight. Like, there's a big difference between that. Like, it's one thing to show up and be like, yeah, I'm gonna win this fight, but what happens when you start getting hit? What happens when you're getting drugged through the mud? You're getting pressed into the cage, you're stuck on bottom. You know, you're getting your ass kicked. Are you gonna fight through it? You know, you're not gonna win every second of the fight. You know, there's gonna be a lot of hardship. I come for the hardship to come out on top.
You know, let me just go ahead and say this right here. You're a very tough guy, and in the beginning, this is where the humble comes in. You didn't say that you were a tough guy.
Just
you know what I'm saying?
I look at it as just accepting the reality of a fight, man. You know, anybody who believes they're coming out of this unscathed is arrogant. You know, I'm in there to exchange blood. Like, touch me, but understand it's coming right back, and it's coming from a different angle every time. You know, I'm there to fight, man.
Well, and I think that's probably why you're placed where you're at. You come to fight every time, and everybody knows what to expect when you're on a card. So, like, I just wanted your side, you know, the way you, from your angle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, word. I appreciate that.
So, all right. Now let's get to the fun shit, man. Let's get to the fun shit. Now, unfortunately, you're cutting weight, so these questions aren't going to be too fun. But after you win on Friday, what is the Tactician sinking his teeth into as his victory meal?
Oh, man. A big, juicy burger. Preferably with bacon and mushrooms and cheese, and at least a half pound and an ice cold beer.
Ooh, and what we drinking?
Man, I haven't decided, man. You know, ice cold Guinness after the fight is great, man. I like something thick, just so delicious, and a shot of whiskey.
Ooh, ooh. All right, so you gotta let everybody know where that after party's at, because that sounds like it's gonna be banging.
Man, so my boy, Conde Lopez's birthday is Friday night, so I will be chilling with him. Let me look at his page real quick and see where his birthday is.
Well, shit, happy birthday to your boy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you get to celebrate a birthday, you get to celebrate a win, eat a burger, drink a whiskey. Shit, I might have to go to Texas.
Come through.
You know, I would if I could, but that takes money, and this don't make money.
Yeah, I can definitely do this for the love.
Oh, absolutely. This is my contribution to the sport because I'm fat and, you know, lazy.
Hey, you know, but you bring it on the radio, man. That's the matter.
Hey, you know what? Like I said, I had 2 amateur fights way back when. You know, everybody's tired of hearing it already, but you know, so this is how I give back.
Word. That's how it's done, man. You find your niche.
Yep. I'm trying to find my weight so I could get back in there. Look, I promised myself 3 fights, right? I promised myself 3 fights, and I lost the first 2, and it was embarrassing, but it didn't really bother me that much. You know what I mean? The second one was way scarier than the first because you knew what could happen, right? But exactly.
The first one is kind of a random fight. Like, you're just like, what's happening? The second one, you're like, oh shit, this is real.
When he hit me, I was just like, this motherfucker really hit me. Like, in your second cage fight, you shouldn't like be confused why the guy just hit you. Anyway, but I remember telling myself I'm gonna give myself 3 fights, okay? And if I lose all 3 fights, then this isn't for me. And this was before podcasting or, you know, MMA media was real big. This was like, you know, in 2011, 2012, before it got really popular and everybody wanted to do it, including yours truly. But so I said I'd give myself 3 fights. I took 2 fights and I lost them. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get some money. I need to go to a gym because I didn't go to a gym. I literally just got in really fantastic shape. And then called a promoter and was just like, hey, lock me in a cage with another killer. Okay? And so I after losing those 2, I'm just like, you know what? I need to go to a gym, and that's going to cost money. So let me save up some money, and then let me get back to it. A couple years passed, and I wasn't in terrible shape, and then I broke my foot. And stupid me says, you're not going to the hospital. You're a man. You can take it. I'm a fucking liar. I'm a little girl because all I do is complain about it to this day. You know that little to this day thing? Yeah, to this day. So a little backstory on me and my career. So where's your boy's party at?
I can't find it. And he's not answering right now.
Go ahead and expel your thoughts on what we were talking about while you're still looking. Go ahead.
Well, I get that, you know, and I talk to a lot of the young guys at the gym. I do a little bit of coaching on the side. I want to be a full-time coach when I hang up my gloves, but, you know, right now I just mentor and talk to the guys a little bit. But anyway, like, I'm like, hey, you look great in the gym, but understand, when we get in there, shit's a little different. You know, if you decide you don't. It's different when you feel the intent. When you can feel that somebody actually wants to hurt you, you're like,
exactly.
Oh shit, why don't you like me? I thought it was kind of cool.
Well, see, and like now it's even worse for the amateurs, okay? Because now you have to have a certain amount of fights. At least here in Arizona, you have to have a certain amount of fights before you can go pro and actually get paid. Because amateurs don't make money unless they get sponsorships. Okay, so. These guys are literally going in there. There's this kid, okay? He's a killer, but he had his first fight, and I just know that, you know, the nerves of being in a fight really got to him, okay?
Yeah, you could tell the weight.
Exactly.
The weight of the light, the pressure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know this kid is very skilled, and it didn't translate in the cage. And this motherfucker was taking a beating. And I'm just like, oh my God, and I'm really thinking about doing this again, you know what I mean? Like, am I dumb? You know, this is a young kid. I'm an old man, you know, at least as far as this sport is concerned. I'm 31. He's fucking, you know, probably 18, 19, 20 tops, you know what I mean? So, just, you know, kudos to him, man. His name is Matt Sasueta. His nickname is Money. He's a fun kid, but yeah, I just, you know, watching these amateurs go in there, and I mean, you say amateur, they're pros without, you know, being professional, because all these guys look awesome.
Yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying earlier. Like, the times of guys coming in unprepared. Man, these amateur fighters are coming in with 10 years of training experience.
Yeah.
It was a much different sport.
And it's one of those things where it's like, you if you're gonna get into it, you gotta be all in. And these amateurs, they're all going to the UFC, man. They're all like, you know what I mean? They don't talk to me like they're an amateur. They all know how to talk now too. Out of fucking nowhere, they're all like really good with media. In their first fight, this kid had me so pumped to see him. I was ready to pay for his pay-per-view. What the fuck? The game is just so fucking like I enjoy it so much. You know what I mean? And the fact that I get to be a part of it in my own way, like that's pretty cool too. But to see like amateurs talking like, they've been in the fucking sport for 10, 15 years already. Like, it's crazy.
It's nuts, man. Like I'm very glad that I adapt well because every time I'm looking at these rookies, I was like, wow, in about 5 years, you're going to be a major problem.
Exactly.
Like, man.
Well, and that's the only thing that they're lacking right now is experience because they all have the physical gifts. I mean, this kid was 135 pounds, but he stood at like 5'10", 5'11", maybe even 6 foot. He's pretty tall, dude. Really lanky guy, and the kid's got some power. So, like I said, it's just as soon as he gets some experience under his belt, fuck, man, that's a big bantamweight. That's a big bantamweight.
That's a huge.
You know what I mean? So, but anyways, back to you. Done talking about Miami's over here in Arizona. Though I love them, this interview is we're talking to the Tactician here. Again, you're fighting at LFA 83 over at the Bomb Factory. That's this Friday night. You're fighting Matt Dixon, undefeated prospect at 8-0. I'm thinking he goes 8-1 come this weekend. What do you think?
Hey, I'm there to take it from him. I was like, I hope he wants to keep it more than I want to take it from him.
Ooh, you should write that down. That's good. That's good. Damn. Okay, well, the first person I fight, they got to be undefeated, so I could use that line. My first fight.
Roger that, man.
All right, so what round and how do you get it done against the undefeated guy?
I'm feeling I could put him out in the second, either TKO or submission, but I feel like through the first round he's very confident, he's very strong. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I'll be able to put him out in the second.
Okay, so you think it's going to get to the ground and you're either going to beat him to a pulp or beat him into a submission?
That's the goal.
Hey, man, I like it. And you know what? I'm actually growing fond of these, predictions where, A, the fighters have them, because you're lying if you're telling me that you're not visualizing how the fight ends. Nobody thinks, oh, I'm going to go the distance with this guy. No, they think about the knockout. They think about, cranking somebody's neck until their head pops off. You know what I mean? So the way that they visualize the fight, I try to translate that to my listeners. And I'm getting more and more of these second and third round predictions. And that tells me that, A, people know that it's not always going to come in the first round. And they're also expecting their opponent to be tougher than just a first round finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, guys are getting more realistic about, the fight itself. There's a feeling out period. And if there's not, there's still that toughness, that edge. We all train hard. Everybody trains hard. So I'm expecting him to be the best version of himself coming in. I feel like he's too confident and he's too athletic for me to just go in there and blow through him. So I'm gonna have to do the work in the first round, try to break him open in the first round and finish him in the second.
Man, respect, because you're not taking this guy lightly, man. And at this stage in your career, you really could, man. You've done it all. You've seen it all. You could be saying, all right, after I'm done with this kid, what's next? You're not even really thinking about what's next, aside from that burger.
Yeah, man, that burger, bro. That's my baby.
Shit. You got me thinking about this burger, and I'm about to have a salad.
All
right, man. Well,
but yo.
Oh, did you find the party?
No.
Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna tell the people. Look, go over to his social media accounts. Why don't you drop those so that way you could drop the flyer or whatever it is for the party so people can go. But go ahead and drop your social media tags.
Word, you can find me at JP Tactician on IG and on Twitter and on Snapchat, and then Justin the Tactician Patterson on Facebook.
Damn, he's on that Snap, ladies and gentlemen. You are my first guest to drop their Snapchat. No one's ever done that. You're making history here with me on the show.
If you want to catch my dumb gaming and stuff like that, and just me being stupid, then follow me on Snap.
Okay, well, you're actually a very intelligent guy, so I'll disregard that last statement. But in all fairness, this has been a fucking great interview, okay? Best luck to you on your weight cut. Again, ladies and gentlemen, he's cutting weight when he's fucking, bullshitting with me on the phone. So hopefully I'm taking away a little bit of the pain. Probably not, because I keep talking about FOOD. But look, man, I really respect what all of you fighters do. You know what I mean? So definitely safe on the weight cut. Make it to the fight. Go and perform. Just do what you do. And go and get that W, man. Best of luck, my friend.
Man, I'm on it. Man, I appreciate the interview, man. I'm all over that shit, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's do this again. And before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, man. Thank everybody over at TKO Combat Sports. I want to thank all my coaches, Douglas Fry, Victor Reyna, Eric Lincoln, and my boxing coach Jabbar, who came through for me in a lot of ways this year, man. Kevin Holland, man, he came through for a lot of sparring. He's co-main event up at UFC London, so, we pushing for him. Man, so many people. My wife for putting up with my ass through fight camp, because we all know that shit gets real sometimes. All my sponsors, Urban's Tattoo Studio, Generation Sports Therapy, Everdeen Chiropractic, Stroud Fitness, love you all. Thank you so much for riding with me this fight. I didn't have a lot of sponsors. I had a long layoff off the cage, but the ones that came through, man. They got me to the cage, and that's all that matters.
All right. Well, I think everybody knows what happens when you get in there, man. So everybody will feel the love once your hands getting raised, for sure.
Real talk.
Oh, man. That's the first time somebody's ever told me real talk, too. Son of a gun. Hey, you know what? It's a good day to be Steve. So, again, Justin the Tactician Patterson fighting LFA 83 over at the Bomb Factory on Fight Pass, ladies and gentlemen. This is on UFC Fight Pass. So this is a big fucking deal. This is a big fucking fight. So go and peep that on your Fight Pass. And we'll be live tweeting all night. Okay, so check out Justin and all the other fighters on the card. This is the co-main event. Thank you for your time. I can't wait to see you perform, my friend.
Man, I'm ready to go do it. Appreciate you, man.